I'm now going to show you the finally block. Right, so let's just quickly look at this code again. Okay, so I've got a number larger and a number result, and then I've got smaller, which is another integer, and I want to divide larger by smaller and put it into the result. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to actually code another, okay, let's just quickly test this code. So I'm going to test it first for no error. So I'm going to run it for no error. I'm going to put in there number 1. Okay, number 1 says I'm in the try block. It says I'm in the try block, and then it prints the end. Okay, I want to put that capital E there before I get upset about it. Okay, so now I'm going to run with, so I said when I get a number 1, everything works. That's perfectly fine. Now I'm going to say what happens if I enter 0. Again, then it tells me that an arithmetic error was found, and it went to the end. It chose the catch block that it wanted, and then it goes to the end. So whatever I had coded after try catch. So my program worked. It continued to the end. Now I'm going to give another error. I'm going to go 5, and it tells me now that it's an input mismatch error. It ran a different catch block, and then it went to the end. Okay, so so what I'm now going to do is I'm going to say after all my catch blocks. Now I've got catch for one error, catch for another error, catch for all the other errors. Okay, so my catch exception E must always be the last catch, because I want the other errors to be dealt with if they're there, and only in the case where none of the coded errors had been encountered, only then should the general catch all exception run. Okay, so I put this catch exception E always at the end, but now what I can put after that is the word finally. Okay, and finally is a coding block that I can run at the very end of all my catch blocks. And the difference between all the catch blocks and the finally block is the finally block will always run. So if my try worked, okay, it will run the try if it works, and then it will not do any of the catch blocks, but it will come into the finally and it will run the finally block. However, if the try didn't work, the computer will run whichever catch block is necessary to run, and then it will also run the finally catch, the finally block. So what I'm going to do is here, I'm just going to say result, and I'm going to type result there. So whatever this value of result is, I'm going to run it here in the finally block. If I had an error, it's going to be 0. If I didn't have an error, it's going to be the division of larger divided by smaller. So let's see how this works. So I'm going to run this code. Let's just run it first without any error. Okay, I'm going to put the 2. Okay, and now larger was 10 and smaller is 2, so the result is 5. Now can you see that it did run this, it completed my try block, and it did enter the finally block, and it also ran what came after. Now I'm going to make an error. Okay, let's see what happens when I run an error. So I'm going to say 5, okay, and what it did, it runs this catch block, it skips over the arithmetic catch block, it doesn't print arithmetic error, it skips the exception, it doesn't print all other errors, but it goes into finally and prints result and prints the 0, okay, and then prints the end. So the error also, it chose the catch block, the appropriate catch block, and then it also runs the finally. So now I'm going to run it for an arithmetic exception. I'm going to enter 0, and it runs the arithmetic exception. It also runs the finally, and then it runs all print. So you see, the finally block runs. If my try worked, the finally block will run, and if there was a catch, the computer will run the appropriate catch block and also the finally. So the final block will always run.